Hey guys, welcome to an episode of the Service Without Excuses podcast. Glad you are able to join us and or where you're listening to this at. We happen to stream all over the world between our YouTube channel and the different download mediums out there, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, whatever that happens to be. We're glad to be with you. We're glad to be ranked one of the top entrepreneur podcasts in the country. We really love it, especially in the service sector. That's really what's been able to help determine where we're able to help our listeners the most. So, guys, thank you so much. Of course, the Service Without Excuses podcast is sponsored by ProdigyPro.io. That's ProdigyPro.io. It's a one-stop software system for your marketing automation in your service company. It doesn't matter if you're a plumber, or a chiropractor, a carpet cleaner, a disaster restoration company. It doesn't matter. This software program is custom tailored to fit your needs. There's a bunch of different memberships that you can go to. And no matter what size your business is, it's a one-stop shop for just getting it done. So, guys, I want to thank him so much for, of course, sponsoring the podcast. And this week, we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. I used to deal with it when I was a sales rep, of course, in particular, and also as a truck technician, where I was going into homes with what's referred to as a warm lead. And that's going to be part of what I'm going to talk about here. And sometimes a cold lead, which the sales rep side was involved with. So the big thing that I really had to master and had to learn was how to overcome objections. Now, objections are things that your customers and clients in particular give back at you for why they're not going to do something. Here's an example. If I'm going to have my carpets cleaned and we go and we do a great job cleaning the carpets, and afterwards we recommend they put a protector on it, could be 3M Scotch Guard, DuPont, no matter what kind of carpet protector you use. And they say to you, well, I'm going to replace my carpeting. Well, the next answer should be how long before you think you do that? And they're like, well, maybe a couple of years. Now, if you had stopped before you asked the second question, the conversation would have been done, because you just said, well, why would they put protector on the carpet? They're going to replace the carpets. What you're not thinking about is they're going to try to get another 1 or 2 years out of it, because they don't usually have their carpets cleaned till about 2 years later. Well, that's worth putting a protector on just to hold on to it for a little bit longer, because that carpet might prematurely wear in a year without putting that on there, and therefore causing much more rapid replacement. Ultimately, if they're not going to want to do it, they're not going to want to do it. But you need to learn to handle and overcome objections. There's always a reason to do something, and there's always a reason not to do something. Of course, we don't want to take their money if they're just going to yank it out in 6 months or whatever, and there's no benefit to it. Another objection we were able to overcome quite often was people would be selling the house, and they would say, I'm selling the house. I don't need to Scotch Guard the carpet. I don't need to put anything on it. I'm selling the house. I'm not going to live here. What does it matter? Well, the objection would be, of course, what you just heard. The response could be, well, you know what, Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, whoever you happen to be talking to, when you go to sell the house, if you do things like putting protector on a carpet, what it implies to the new owner or somebody that's going to come into the home is that you've put value into your home. You've repaired things, you've maintained things, and you can sell that. You're going to get all your money back. Just put the Scotch Guard on the price tag if it really means that much to you. Other than that, go, well, this guy had the carpets cleaned and he spent the money on Scotch Guarding. Why would a guy spend the money on Scotch Guarding? He must really care about his home. He must care about us as new buyers coming in. You've overcome the objection. But if you just stopped and said, I'm selling the house, and that was the end of the conversation, you might be walking yourself out of hundreds of dollars worth of protector that they were actually more than willing to pay. They just had an objection in their head before they came out with it, and you had a response in kind of why they may want to consider doing that. You never want to be pushy. You don't need to be pushy. I was pretty successful as a sales rep, just overcoming objections in a soft way. You don't need to be, you're crazy. What are you, nuts? You got to do this. None of that. That's for the amateurs. You need to be able to answer a question with an objection response that is quite in correlation with what you're dealing with. Again, if somebody's not going to do it, they're not going to do it, but you could be losing a lot of money. One of the core things I work with our service clients in our coaching, which is part of our programs, is overcoming these things. As a truck technician, as a sales rep, a truck technician, I was going into a warm lead, which meant the job was already there. They already knew I was coming, and now I was able to offer additional products and services to them. If it's a cold lead, or I'm cold sales rep, and I'm going out there and I am bringing something to their attention. It's cold. They don't even know I'm coming. If they know I'm coming, it's ice cold. Ice cold would be they have no idea I'm just walking on their property. But cold would be we had an appointment they still haven't bought from me. There's nothing, no work being done. I'm just trying to offer a solution to their problems. And that's ultimately what selling is you're offering a solution to their problems. If you can't offer a solution that's going to be going to eliminate the problem or at least cut down on the problem, then you shouldn't be selling it in the first place. So I like to think that overcoming objections when it comes to selling is something you learn naturally. And I just talked to a client here this morning on a conference call, and we went into that, and he was talking about somebody that had been ripped off by another contractor. They took money. It wasn't a ton of money. It was $500. So it's still a lot of money. And they took the money and ran. And this particular person was not a person they probably should have done that for. This is a person that works in law enforcement. So that's not a good way to start your journey of being a thief and a criminal. But they automatically that person should be skeptical. But that person's skeptical by nature because of the business they're in, the job they're in. So they were able to read this person's body language, and this person built up a tremendous rapport with this, and showed, of course, empathy, because you feel bad. You feel bad somebody got ripped off. And it doesn't matter who it is. So this person showed empathy naturally, just that type of person he is, and offered the solution and gave him what's referred to as results in advance, and said, listen, I don't know what happened there, and I'm sorry that happened to you, but our company's reputation is such as this. You can look it up. Even if you want to, you don't want to. And the gentleman, in fact, I believe just commented there is no reason for him to look it up because he could read it in his body language. And it's how you communicate yourself, and it's how your authority is given on the subject that you're trying to cover. And if people believe that and they believe what you're saying, it's a win-win. And here's the thing, guys, as a person selling something, you have to believe in what you're selling in. There's no faking it. I mean, I hate canned pitches. I don't even like the word pitch. I don't even like the word sales pitch. Annoys the hell out of me. I don't like it because a pitch is a contained, canned response to somebody. So if your response every time is, hi, my name is blank, and this is what you should do because I say you should do it, and that's canned, and it's stupid, and it comes across fake and inauthentic, okay? So every situation's different. Every person's different. Every variable is different when it comes to selling. You have to be able to read another person just like they're reading you. And if you can read their body language correct enough to give them their same response in back, you're going to win in a big way. But you have to be authentic in this. This is not faking it. This is not the world where you can fake it today. It's not the fake it till you make it. That bullshit's for somebody else. I don't buy that. I don't buy it at all. You should be able to deliver a result that they are looking for. So when I come back to overcoming objections, if you build your body of work and you look at it and say, when Mrs. Smith says, I'm going to do this, your response should be blank. It shouldn't be canned. It shouldn't be trained. You should just have an automatic feeling for how Mrs. Smith should be, have them something explained to her, or an example, or again, back to results in advance, which is what I really do like. This is the results we can expect to get. If I'm doing a job, or one of our technicians is going out and doing a job, I want them to deliver the results in advance. If the carpet's got a major traffic pattern, I want that covered before we go and start doing the job. I want people to be aware of it. Why do I want to be aware of it? And I'm not trying to talk myself out of a job, but I'm not trying to talk myself into a real problem. If they think in their mind that's just going to disappear, and people don't explain this stuff over the phone, I promise you. So the technician, there's the frontline people out there, and they see there's a traffic pattern there they need to address, all the cleaning needs, what they're going to do, just to let you know, ma'am or sir, this traffic pattern's still going to be here. We can lighten up a little bit. I'm sure we can break down some of the inbound soil, but we can't fix the damage. It's already been done. And this is why. And I won't get into why that damage happened, but a lot of times the technician could explain that. You're delivering results in advance. You're telling the customer and the client, this is what we can expect here. Don't say anything. And at the end of the job, they're looking at it going, hey, that's still there. And well, we know it's still going to be there. It's a high traffic pattern, but it wasn't covered in advance. So they didn't give the customer and clients results in advance, therefore causing a potential confrontation. Now, some people might go, oh, okay, it makes sense. I understand. Some people might, well, that's what I wanted to hear. That's what I hired your company here to do. I hired you to come here and fix this and make this problem go away, make my pain go away. My pain being, my significant other telling me we got to get new carpet. And I just said, I'm going to get a carpet cleaner to come in. And now I got to pay you and then buy new carpet because it's my significant other is not going to be happy with this. So that's a lose-lose. So it's good to be proactive, deliver real results in advance, meet expectations, go above expectations if you possibly can. So think about things like that. Overcoming objections is nothing more than getting a relatable bank in your head of how you can respond to somebody's objections and their body language, and understand the variables of why you want to do something or why you would not, or the benefit to the consumer. Again, they don't buy for the feature that you have a truck mounted system if you're a carpet cleaner. Now, if you're a service company, a truck mount is a truck mounted system. We use them ourselves, that goes out. It's very powerful, much more powerful than a typical portable. And you're going to go out and do it. But they don't care that the feature is the big truck mount that's got so much CFM and has heat and great cleaning solution and a brilliant technician that could do the best job in the world. They don't care about all that. They don't. I mean, there are people that ask us, do you use a truck mount? And those people are usually from the industry or have somebody they're related to or know that's in the industry. That's the only people that care about it. It just doesn't, it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen, in my words. So that the feature was the big truck mount and all the heat and the power, but the benefit is their carpet looks better. So if you focus on the benefit and not on the feature, that's it. I'm going to give you a quick example. Many years ago, I was at a major conference for the cleaning industry in Nashville. And there was a bunch of people speaking up at the top about how to help build your business, how to market your business, new technology stuff. And on the other side of this area, there was a big truck mount that they were disassembling and figuring out and going through all the components to. And what killed me, and honestly killed me, but explains a lot of people that complain that they're not successful in this world and they can't grow or scale a business, is literally 85% of the people in these two groups were over there watching the truck mount because they like the technical features of something, like wow, this does this does this. Well, if I got to repair this, that's good. You should know how to do some repairs. That's fine. However, the other person that's talking about how you can build your business, that's on the other side, that person literally had 5 to 7 people. I was one of them, listening to and giving people advice that can literally add $100,000 a year to their business. Meanwhile, they're worried about the truck mount. By the way, the truck mount can be repaired for a few $100s typically. You just lost $100,000 worth of knowledge and information because you were uber focused on the features, and the smart ones were focused on the benefits that were coming to them from people speaking on the stage itself and giving you a bunch of stuff. So it always blew my mind. And by the way, it's not just our industry. It's a lot of industries. It's nice to be a technical person. I like tools. If you go into my shop, I have a whole bunch of tools. I like repairing some of my own stuff, but it's not my focus. And if I'm too busy doing something else, guess what? That's got to get fixed somewhere else. I have a guy on staff that's very mechanical. If he can't fix it, it goes into our shop. It goes to Langhorne. It goes to wherever it's got to go to be repaired, because that is only costing me a little bit of money. I'm going to give you another quick example. I had a garage that used to work for me when I owned my business in Pennsylvania. And if a truck had to be repaired, we had box trucks for the type of business it was. I would tell them, get all the work done in one day as long as the price is below, I said, $2,500. And they'd be like, wow, that's pretty liberal, man. You're really giving me a lot of leeway there. Might you ask, I might want to ask exactly why you think that way. I said, well, that truck sitting down for a day cost me approximately $2,500. And if it's going to cost me another day for it to sit here because you couldn't finish up something the day before because it was going to be another $500 in overtime, I'm telling you in advance, I want the truck fixed in one day, because the next day I'm now losing another $2,500 versus gaining our $2,500. So if you've got to pay your guys and charge me to get it done today and get everything finished up and work a little bit overtime to get it done, and still charge me, an exorbitant rate. But if it's below $2,500, I don't even need the phone call at this point, because I'm losing another day, which is equal to $2,500. See, I understood that the feature of it was getting it in there and having them repair it and take care of it. The benefit to me was that I'm not going to lose another $2,500 the next day. So those are objections. Those are overcoming objections or overcoming situations. Really need to write down some of the common things that you hear people say. If they say, oh, it's too expensive, it's this, what's the objection to expensive? Well, there's an investment versus return. So if they're going to put Scotchgard on a carpet, going back to the original thing I talked about, and the investment is much lower than the return by holding on to the carpets for another year or two longer is much lower than the investment of buying new carpets. If your truck needs to be repaired, is it cheaper to just do a modification for another 6 months versus buying a new vehicle? Or is it just wasting time? You got to think about that. That truck might be full of equipment, full of gear, full of outfitting on the inside. That's all got to be moved out to another thing, losing thousands of dollars versus just holding on and maintaining it for a little period of time so you can be proactively ready to transfer a truck, maybe buy another truck and start outfitting the other truck to it. So when that truck goes down, you might have a day or even a couple hours downtime. You can be proactive in your approach to these things as well. That's the big thing about overcoming objections is you're being proactive for the consumer, for the customer. You're thinking about what benefits them the best way possible. Again, don't sell them something they don't need. That's just stupid, and that's honestly stealing. But if they do need it, you should spend 120%, if that's possible, 120% of your effort in pushing that toward them to get them to this product or service. So, guys, I appreciate your time today. I wanted to come to you with this just because I thought it would be a really good subject to cover. I know I've talked about some of these things before in the past a little bit, and it's been really a true pleasure to come to you, with these different podcasts, these different little mini series stuff that I do all the time, and having you here listen to the Service Without Excuses podcast is truly an honor. So I do appreciate it. Please like and subscribe wherever you listen to us. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. If you're on iTunes or Stitcher, Spotify, whatever that happens to be, you just want to, click the subscribe or downloads, and please share with a friend. That always helps if it benefits somebody else. A lot of these have helped a lot of people. A lot of people have shared them. And of course, it helps our download numbers too as well, and helps us gain and help other people. We also thank our sponsor again, ProdigyPro.io. It's ProdigyPro.io. It's a one-stop service automation system for your marketing and your automation in your business that's done on autopilot for you every single month. And they have a bunch of different memberships of different levels, and that can really help grow and scale your business depending on where you're at and where you want to be. And I got to tell you, the high-end stuff that Prodigy Pro offers is unbelievable. It's literally a third of the price of what I would have paid even 2 years ago to have the same thing done. I wish this type of technology was around then. Yes, it utilizes a little bit of AI because it has to, but AI is pretty damn accurate. Scary kind of accurate. And that's why the pricing on this program can be as affordable as it is, because you can pull from those things. If you need article writing, you don't have to necessarily write all of the articles from scratch. You can get templates, and then they're custom fit to your company, and then that's it. They go right out. But they have different membership programs. Phenomenal setup. Go to ProdigyPro.io, and you can do a test drive of it and check it out. And I know they have some different bonuses. You can also mention that you listen to this podcast with Rob M. Lyon when you go to visit them, and it's very much appreciated. Guys, again, thank you so much for being here today, and we will see you on the next episode.